Welcome back. It is Travel Tuesday, and if you want an exotic feeling vacation, but just don't want to pack a passport, sounds like it's just for you.
Yeah, travel expert Kinga Phillips joining us today with more on her recent trip to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Always great to see you. Your adventures are always next level. You went to the Virgin Islands actually a few years ago while filming Shark Week, because a lot of folks may know you from your work with Shark Week. Why did you decide to go back again?
So I was actually back out in the Caribbean and I was filming Shark Week. And because I had been there 10 years ago, had a lot of good friends in the US Virgin Islands, and it's just so much fun, and especially for diving, I decided I was going to pop over and visit everyone and play in the warm water.
Kinga, are the U.S. Virgin Islands big destinations for scuba diving? I mean, it sounds like they obviously would be, but
Yeah.
what are the facts?
Yes, I'm going to nod my head yes. So the water is warm, it is clear, it is calm, it is really beautiful. In the time that I was out there, I probably did 20 different dives. And what's great about it is there's something for every level. We did really deep dives that were down to wrecks, that were coral encrusted, beautiful. This spot called Armageddon, that's an old pier, really extraordinary. We did drift dives, which is basically the current taking you along. So it's kind of like an escalator and you're just like, ooh, look at everything. It's so pretty. I don't have to do that much work. We went out to the shallows off of St. Thomas. We had one girl who wasn't fully PADI, which is the Professional Association of Diving Instructors. She wasn't fully certified. So she did a shallow dive. And actually off of St. Thomas is where they used to train the NASA astronauts before they got their own pool to train in. Then we did some dives where people were shooting lionfish and looking for lobsters. And then my personal favorite dive, which actually was my Facebook profile picture for years before when I was there for Travel Channel, it's the pier at Frederiksted. And this is actually a world-class dive. And this time around, we got to get out there and we did a night dive. And I called it Turtle Palooza because you're swimming and every couple of feet, I didn't even know that this is how turtles slept. They are hanging on the pier. They're just chilling in all these different places. We're trying not to shine our lights in their eyes, but the glow of the coral was so bright and beautiful. And honestly, you guys, we probably saw like 60 turtles and rays and octopuses. It's just, there's something for everyone. It's so pretty.
Kinga, magical, just beautiful to look at that. I feel like scuba diving is one of those things where everybody would love to do it, but for some, it's just they can't get over it, and nervous and all
I'm
that.
one of those people.
Yeah.
I live through Kinga.
But I know you would love that because it's
Yeah, it's so
amazing
beautiful.
stuff. Scuba divers paradise. But what about those that maybe are like, okay, I like looking at it, but I'm not going to do it. What else can we do here?
So there's so much to do in the US Virgin Islands. Like, first off, if you are a scuba diver, you can snorkel, you can do introduction to scuba, you can do deep dives, all of it. I would say this is really important to get across is make sure that your dive shops are PADI certified, which is one of the professional instruction organizations, and make sure they have good people and good gear. And that's something I tell someone everywhere I go. Like, you want to go out with really good people. So we went out with the same people that we went out with the first time. So we did Cane Bay Dive Shop, St. Croix Scuba, and Red Hook, and they're all really, really good. And that goes for all outfitters. So the other things we did, we called it Cindy and Kinga's Excellent Adventure. My friend Cindy knows everybody there. This is called see-through kayaks, and they're these plexiglass kayaks, and you got on the water and you paddle through this bay. It's called Salt River. This is actually the only place on what is now American soil that Christopher Columbus actually ever set foot. And then you paddle out into this amazing bioluminescent bay, and because the kayaks are see-through, you can see the bioluminescence, and it's beautiful. Hard to capture on camera, so I can't show it to you, but it is beautiful. So then you can also go out. This is Buck Island. President Kennedy actually established this as a sanctuary because it was one of his favorite places. So you can go out. There are companies like Caribbean Sea Adventures. They'll take you out in a catamaran. You can play. The water is obviously ridiculously stunning, like a screensaver. So that was really gorgeous. You can go sailing for sunsets. We went out with a company called Lyrical Sails. They give you rum punch or juice if you're a child, and you can watch the sunset. We visited the Nature Conservancy, which really cute, was started by my friend Kemet 10 years ago. And now our friend McKellen here was showing us, and they basically grow coral, and you can do tours of it, and they tell you all about it. And then they replant the coral, and it's all free. You can go and have fun. It's a lot of fun. And then we went out to this spot called Sandy Point. And Sandy Point is famous, but people don't know why it's famous because it's actually the end scene of Shawshank Redemption, where they say that they're in Mexico, and this is Sandy Point right here. So they say it's Zihuatanejo, Mexico. It's actually not. It's Sandy Point and St. Croix. And Cindy and I went out there. She's like, I have to show it to you. And we actually reenacted the scene. I don't know if the video is in here, but she played Tim Robbins and I played Morgan Freeman. And we did this is me walking up. This is me as Morgan Freeman. All the difference, right?
Andy Dufresne, the only man I ever knew who could crawl through a mile of blank and come out smelling like a rose.
There you go.
Yes. So we did that. You can go horseback riding here. I didn't get to do this time, but last time I got to do that with my friend Jen's company, Cruising Cowgirls. She basically rescues horses. This is beautiful Christiansted. There's so much history there. We went to one of Cindy's friends recently opened a restaurant. It was called 1756 Grotto. That bridge that they're walking under was designed by Oppenheimer because he spent a lot of time there. And this restaurant, because it's called 1756, that building was old Danish ruins that was redone, built in 1756. And a lot of the bricks are actual ballast was on ships. That is Chef Co. He has won Chopped 6 times, beat Bobby Flay. It was awesome. And then Alexander Hamilton actually lived on the island for a while as well. And his mother was actually imprisoned in one of the forts there. So tons of history on this island, which I loved because I'm a huge history buff.
Oh, it's so incredible. And you answered one of my next questions, which was going to be, is this a good vacation for an entire family, all age groups? It definitely looks like there is. You don't have to necessarily be a diver to enjoy the beaches. Let's talk though about how easy it is to plan a vacation there, logistics wise, from say Southern California.
So from Southern California, you're going to do a couple jumps. You're going to fly over probably to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. I was coming from the Bahamas, so I hopped through Fort Lauderdale, but you go to Miami and then it's about a 2.5-hour flight over to the U.S. Virgin Islands. And then from there, you can hop around to St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John by taking Cape Air flights. They're these little Cessnas. And if you see in that video, 2 of my pilots were women, and I was so excited. She's got pigtails. I was like, that is so cool. And then once you get there, you can rent a car. All the big car rental agencies are there. Although I will say they drive on the left, but the cars are designed for the American market. Oh. So it's very confusing. I just had Cindy drive me around because I was like, I wanted to definite. So that was that. And then you have all kinds of hotels. There are the main hotel chains. There are boutique hotels. I particularly love the villas. When I was there for Travel Channel before, we stayed in a villa. And this time, one of Cindy's friends had this, and it was an Airbnb, and I got to stay there. And it's called Chateau Mount St. Mary's. And this was an old Danish ruin that was then an abbey, then it was a Catholic church. And when you look at the bricks, and I focus on them because I love them, that's old ballast for ships. So I was in love with that place. And then food, you've got everything from high-end restaurants to we would stop and get pizza after diving and burgers. And, we just had fun. Like it is such a fun, easy place. No passport necessary.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's talk money, Kinga. How much is something like this going to set us back?
So that's what's really great is there are so many affordable options. Like this place that I stayed in, it was in the low season. It's less than $300 a night, and you've got like multiple bedrooms in here. So if you have a big family of say 4, you rent one of these places and you're good to go. Diving is pretty standard in most places where you go. So you can do like a 2-tank dive for less than $300. I mean, diving, I've always said it's not a cheap sport, but you get a lot of bang for the buck. And again, the variety is great. You go to one of these more high-end restaurants. This is the 1756 Grotto, and you're going to spend a little bit more. Although I did find coming from Los Angeles, their prices are really affordable. But then you can go get a pizza or a burger, and you're going to pay what you would pay here or probably less. So it really is about finding the time of year with flights. I always advocate for low season and shoulder season, especially to tropical places, because it's always going to be warm. It's not like they get snow. So look for good deals and, make it happen because it's gorgeous.
It really is. You always inspire us. Thank you so much, Kinga. To get more information about Kinga, you can visit her website, kingaphillips.com, or follow her on Instagram. That's where you'll see all of her adventures. Her handle is @KingaPhillips. We'll be right back.